What's up, y'all? I don't have my microphone today, so I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear me properly. All the other recordings are probably gonna be a lot clearer, but we started without a microphone, so I think we're good. Let me put this on the ground here. I carried that with the dog food, so it's night number 2. Our volunteers are happily inside the paddock the dudes were in yesterday or today and last night. So they just changed. The dudes went over to the next one. Our 3 guard dogs came out and went on this side. They got water. You can tell Daisy already put her feet in there, cooling it off. We got the dog food over there for them. I just put it on the ground for the time being. It's gonna be their second night. They're gonna be out here. This rarely happens, so I don't know if it's part of training or sometimes they're just like, you know what, I want to hang out here tonight. Or I'm not exactly sure this is how you're supposed to train a guard dog, but they just kind of, like I said, volunteered. I just call it volunteering. Yesterday when I was setting up the paddock where the dudes are now, the 3 of them went inside, and I didn't even realize they were inside until I closed off the paddock and they were in there, and I'm like, oh, okay. Because I know Copper, when he goes in the paddock, he respects the electric netting. He knows it's hot. He'll get shocked. He's seen the dudes get shocked. I'm not entirely sure if he's been zapped before, so, but he acts like he has, so it's just, he respects it already. Daisy's been zapped when she was younger, like 4 or 5 times, and now she's gotten bigger. She doesn't try to go through it, so she understands that, it's a psychological barrier there. It's also a pain barrier, so she went through the pain, but now it's just psychological. They get close to it, they're like, oh, should we go through it? Should we go through it? So, yeah, that's just kind of like what happens. And if they do kind of stick their nose through, they go between the nettings. I'm not sure if he's trained. He kind of wants to go in there. He's just been he's more of a, like a, no, I don't want to say a herding dog, but like, yeah, maybe a herding dog, like a shepherding dog. Like if you just let them go out on pasture like we used to do. Last year, before I went back full time, I used to take him out. I walk out here, way out here, and he would follow me, and he would, do like roving guard. He would go out about 200, 300, 400 feet, and he would just keep circling around, and that's like what he's trained to do. So with this type, he's not accustomed to it. So to him, it's just like, why are you guys not moving around the pasture? Why are you just in a little paddock? I think that's probably what's going through his mind. So, I don't blame him for it. That's just how I'm sure his parents are. That's how he was raised, to be a shepherding dog. So, like if I took them out tomorrow morning and I walked after them, let's say to the ridge around this way, he would 100% know exactly what to do. He would follow me, he would follow them, and he would go out in front of them, and he would just circle around, come back, go out, come back. That's the type of dog he is. That's the kind of guardian he is. So just the differences. With Daisy, she was more confined in one area, like how this is. That's why she's more accustomed to this. I think the other one was like that too, Copper. They told us she was a guard dog as well. He kind of mainly stayed at the house in the beginning. When we were over here, he kind of volunteered a couple of times too on the hill. He would come into the paddock and he would stay. He was good. The first time he did that, I was kind of like freaking out, like, is she gonna try to jump the netting or run through the netting? What's she gonna do? That's like what I was kind of freaking out on. I kept an eye on him. I just turned the netting on. He was actually in the paddock where the sheep and goats were. So, and I was kind of freaking out, and I just kind of kept an eye on him, turned the fence on, and I just watched for about 10 minutes. And he just laid in the center. Sheep and goats didn't mind him, and I was okay, all right. So he stayed there all day. Moved the paddock, and he followed them there. He stayed with him that night, and the next morning when I moved him again, that's when I was moving him twice a day, morning and evening. So he's accustomed to it, and when we moved out further, he did that a few more times. So he did that again last night, and then with the little one, they trained him because she used to just run through the net as well and get zapped. Like 4 or 5 times she did that. So this morning I turned the fence off and she ran through. That's still that part of it that's there, but she saw me turn it back on, and I put her back in there this morning when I was leaving for work. And as I was driving away, she would come up to the fence like this close, and then she would just kind of, get close and just, so she just understood now. So she knows now that she's gonna get zapped if she tries to get through it. So physically, it's a physical barrier, it's a psychological barrier, and it's a pain barrier. So I guess the 3 Ps, if you want to call it. I just realized that. So like physical pain, psychological, or should it be pain? They gotta experience the pain first to understand it's a physical barrier, and then realize it's a psychological barrier as well. So I guess that makes sense, right? So yeah, I guess it's kind of my little tidbit for you guys. So who knows, I might become a pretty good content creator after all. Share some psychological or intuitive stuff with y'all. Or say psychological. I'm getting too far into the dating thing. So anyway, that's a kind of the rundown with these dudes. So they're gonna stay here tonight again, just because of it rained again earlier. Where we are right now, we got about probably that much last night, the mud. And then today again, so I'm just gonna let it seep down, let it kind of dry off a little bit. It's kind of breezy, so that way it's not so muddy tomorrow when you're pulling out the stake to bring up like clumps of mud. The only thing with that here in this location, so when we're further over here, some location they're more sandy, some are more clayey. So that's just the reason for me not moving it, and also for these 3, I just want them to stay out here another night so they can get the experience again, especially the little one. Tomorrow, if they decide to go in, which I know they won't go into the new paddock, they're going to be like, no, we're not staying here for 2 days and a 3rd night. So, but they do good though. But still, I'm kind of like, actually just kind of put them in there, not force them, but just put their food in there and they can go in there and then they can eat. And they'll realize that, hey, we're going to stay out here again. So I'm just trying to find a way to create a system for them now. So it's going to be pretty interesting how to do that. But yeah, I guess we'll find out tomorrow evening when we move him. I guess I'll move him, but then if I do that, I gotta wait until the next day to move the other paddock. So I usually like to kind of keep it moving forward ahead, so that way the next day I just open the gate, they run through, close it, take it down, set it up, and the process goes. Except for days like this. The other day, same thing, it rained, and I just left it up until the following day, when we just had a slight sprinkle, and took it to move them. I actually took it down, set it up, moved them, took the other one down, set that one up. So it's just kind of a little bit more work, but it's doable as well. So anyway, I want to let these guys go. We're gonna head back. We got a walk. We gotta walk way over here. So house is over here, and we're just gonna walk there. Look at that beautiful sunset though. So that's the sunset. If you enjoyed that moment of quietness with the crows and the doggies in the background. All right, y'all. So they get this full of dog food, and I want to set up an automatic feeder out here. I have one, but it's huge. I want to get the smaller one for him. So But we got rain actually for 4 evenings in a row now, so that's so awesome, you know. So it's like, it's like amazing. It's like, thank you. You gotta be grateful for all of that moisture that we're getting in. I know we're gonna be getting more. Hi, Rolo. Rolo's the house dog. She's the guard dog over there. And she kind of follows me wherever I go. When I go hiking, she used to come with me. All right, y'all. We're gonna get back to the house, get dinner. We still gotta give some hay to the bucks and the rams. They're over there near the house. I want to put some pasture seed down where they're at and try to establish that one, so that way every year we're utilizing that for the bucks and the rams. Probably up to Thanksgiving we'll put them back in here. And this winter, since we have 4 extra fences, we might be able to make it a little bit bigger. I was kind of thinking about that earlier. It's like double the size. So we'll run 2 fences on each side. And that's 8, and then 2 for 6. So we would need 14. So right now we have 7 and 4. That's 11. We need to get 3 more. Kind of thinking it'll be worth it though. And bigger paddock in the winter. Moving every other day. But we'll see how it goes in a couple months. So. All right, y'all. So we'll see y'all later. Hope y'all had a great week and get ready for the weekend. So, we should be posting this tomorrow morning or Sunday morning. It's Friday evening right now. So, all right, dudes. Have a good evening. Have a good night. See you in the morning. Good night, dudes. See you in the morning. Say good night. Say good night to everybody. All right, y'all. Peace.